Welcome to Quest and Course, where songs remember what history forgets. I'm your bard, and today we climb a legendary cliff where myth and memory blur to Tintagel. Some say King Arthur was born here, others say he died here. And whether that's true or not does not really matter, because this place feels like the kind of place where someone says goodbye. Today we raise a glass to stories that fade and the people who carry them. This is Quest and Course number 307. That was Heather Dale with Mordred's Lullaby. It's originally from her album, The Trial of Lancelot, though she did release a newer version on her album, Avalon. So you check that out as well. And it was also included on my The Secret World of Celtic Rock compilation CD that I released back in 2005, many years ago. Welcome to Quest and Chorus, where every place has a story, every story has a song, and every song is a step in the quest. I'm your bard, Marc Gunn, and also host of the Irish and Celtic Music Podcast, and typically host of this show as Folk Songs and Stories, but today we call it Quest and Chorus. Quest and Chorus is a 6-part podcast series. I fuse my love of music, science fiction, and fantasy, and travel into a podcast with a quest. In each episode, you will get a clue to unlock a secret reward. And at the end of the season, you will combine all of these clues to unlock an even bigger, amazing reward. If you're new to the show, please follow us. You can do that at pubsong.com or just send me an email to follow@celtfather.net. This is the 3rd episode in the season. And of course, today we're visiting Tintagel, which is located in Cornwall in the southwest corner of England. I'm going to share some history, some shipwrecks, and of course some myth. Upcoming shows. This week I'll be heading to Harrodsburg, Kentucky for ALEP 6. October 11th, I'll be at the Lost Druid Brewery in Avondale Estates, Georgia. October 17th through 19th, Multiverse in Peachtree City, Georgia. November 1st, Georgia Renaissance Festival Fall Fling. That's in Fairburn, Georgia. And then November 8th, I'll be at Irish Fest Atlanta with my daughter Inara. It's in Roswell. Lots of stuff locally, and I hope you come join me. Please leave a comment on the podcast show notes at pubsong.com or wherever you listen. You can also email pictures of where you're listening to follow@celtfather.net. I'll send you a free gift, and you can learn more about how to follow this podcast. A little bit of news. I have a big sale that's happening in October over in my store on magerecords.com. There's some Firefly merch that will go live. And I'm also starting a Patreon membership drive. I'm trying to get 20 new paid patrons during the month of October. But in the first 2 weeks, I have a special gift that's coming out. I'll have more details coming in the days to come. In the meantime, a big thanks to my gunrunners on Patreon. If you enjoy this podcast and you love listening to my music, please follow my Celt Father Patreon page. You can sign up for free and get updates on what's new and get an ad-free edition of this podcast before public listeners. But you get so much more when you become a patron of the arts. Patreon is one of the ways modern musicians and podcasters make a living. For just $5 per month, you'll get exclusive, unreleased songs, podcasts, video concerts, bootleg concerts, and much more. I'm actually trying to plan to release a new song every month on the podcast. So I've done it so far for the past few months, and I hope you will continue listening to some of those. I'll share some music from the special gift that's coming out on October 1st. In the meantime, the Brobdingnagian Bards released a new album pen at DragonCon this year. It is for our album A Faire to Remember, which we originally released back in 2001. I was asking Andrew if we had any Arthurian songs that I could play on the podcast. Ironically, we didn't have any, and it's ironic I say because our first Renaissance festival was Excalibur Fantasy Fair. Our logo was accidentally based on the Chalice Well, which is a part of the Arthurian mythology. So it seemed kind of odd that we didn't have any songs about King Arthur, though occasionally at fairs we would play Bravely Bold Sir Robin. But he did say that this next song was really popular back at Excalibur Fantasy Fair, back when we were performing there at the beginning of the millennium. This is Do Virgins Taste Better Medley. It's from our album A Faire to Remember.
A dragon has come to our village today. We've asked him to leave, but he won't go away. Now he's met with our king and they've worked out a deal. No homes will he burn and no crops will he steal. Now there is but one catch, we dislike it a bunch. Twice a year he invites him a virgin to lunch. Now we've no other choice, so the deal we'll respect. We can't help but wonder and pause to reflect.
Dragons.
And virgins.
Oh, right, and virgins. Yeah.
Dragons. Virgins. The physics alone just boggles the mind.
Huh?
Oh, just kidding. Do virgins taste better than those who are not? Are they salty or sweet or more juicy or what? Do you savor them slowly, gulp them down on the spot? Do virgins taste better than those who are not? I'd like to be shed you and many have tried, but no one can get through your thick scaly hide. We hope that someday some brave knight will come by, cause I can't wait around till you're too fat to fly. Now you have such good taste in your women for sure. They always are pretty, they always are pure, but your notion of dining, it makes us all flinch. Your favorite entree is barbecued wench.
Mine too.
Do virgins taste better than those who are not? Are they salty or sweet or more juicy or what? Do you savor them slowly, gulp them down on the spot? Do virgins taste better than those who are not? Now Now I found a solution, it works out so neat. You insist on nothing but virgins to eat. No more will our number ever grow small. We'll simply make sure there's no virgins at all. Do virgins taste better than those who are not? Are they saltier, sweeter, more juicy, or what? Do you savor them slowly, gulp them down on the spot? Do virgins taste better than those who are not?
Now I am a dragon, please listen to me, for I'm misunderstood to a dreadful degree. The psychology needs me and I know me place, but I'm fighting extinction with all of me race. Well, I came to this village to better me health, which is ever so poor despite all me wealth. But I get no assistance and no sympathy. Should pertinent questioning shouted at me. Yes, virgins taste better than those who are not with me. Favorite snack into perilous fraught. Give me teeth with a K and me trim good a pot. Yes, virgins taste better than those who are not. Almost all of the year, vegetarian ways are now mine out of fear. But a birth means sweets, I'm sure you'll agree, and barbecued wench tastes like candy to me. As it happens, our interests are almost the same. See, I'm really quite skillful at managing game. If I ate just your men, would your exes decline? Of course not, the rest will just make better time. Yes, virgins taste better than those who are not with me. Favorite snacks with perilous butt. Me teeth with a K and me trim good a pot. Yes, virgins taste better than those who are not. The number of babies a woman can bear has limits, and that's why pruning's done there. And an orphan's a sad sight, and so when I munch, I'm careful to eat only virgins for lunch. Yes, virgins taste better than those who are not with me. Favorite snacks, perilous front. The teeth with a K and me trim good a pot. Yes, virgins taste better than those who are not. Yes, virgins taste better than those who are not with me. Favorite snacks, more juicy or what? You savor them slowly, gulp them down on the pot. Yes, virgins taste better than those who are not. Yes, virgins taste better than those who are not. With me favorite snacks, more juicy or what? You savor them slowly, gulp them down on the pot. Yes, virgins taste better than those who are not. Virgins taste better than those who are not. With me favorite snacks, more juicy or what? You savor them slowly, gulp them down on the pot. Virgins taste better than those who are not. Virgins taste better than those who are not. It's not sweet, more juicy or what? Seems like my pot. Virgins taste better than those who are not.
I hope you enjoyed that track. You can get that album and the album pen as part of a big Bard bundle that is now over on our store. Find a link in the show notes or go to Brobdingnagian Yeah, probably easier to go to the link in the show notes. Today's show is brought to you by my Celtic Invasion Vacations. We're going to Galicia, Spain. And every year I take a small group of people on a relaxing adventure to one of the Celtic nations. We don't see everything. Instead, we stay in one area. We get to know the region through its culture, history, and legends. You can join me with an auditory and visual venture through podcasts, blogs, and videos. Go to CelticInvasion.com for details. All right, it is time for Quest and Chorus of Tintagel, Cornwall, History and Myth. Tintagel is carved into the coast of Cornwall, which is in the southwest corner of England. Cliffs like the broken edge of a sword, sea spray rising like breath, ruins cling to the stone, a castle, maybe a dream, definitely. But before we step into the realm of Arthur and Avalon, let's talk about what Tintagel really is. The site we call Tintagel Castle was built in 1230s by Richard, Earl of Cornwall, the brother of King Henry III. Richard was a man of immense wealth and ambition, and his castle wasn't entirely practical. It wasn't raised to defend farmland or trade routes. It was built as a statement to tie himself to the powerful myths already woven into Tintagel's cliffs. But Tintagel's story stretches much further back. Archaeological excavations reveal traces of a post-Roman settlement from the 5th to the 7th centuries. Pottery and glassware from the Mediterranean show that Tintagel was a hub of high-status trade, a gateway where Cornish kings connected with the wider world. Of course, life on these cliffs was never easy. The seas around Tintagel are beautiful but brutal. The jagged rocks and fierce Atlantic storms made this stretch of coast notorious for shipwrecks for centuries. Sailors feared the Cornish coast as the graveyard of ships. Wreckage would wash ashore, and in the medieval period and even later, locals salvaged timbers, cargo, and stories from the sea. These wrecks added to Tintagel's aura, a place where lives and legends were broken against the rocks, where the ocean itself seemed determined to test humanity's endurance. So Tintagel is not just a romantic ruin, it is a site of trade, ambition, and survival, a place shaped as much by the storms of the sea as by the myths of men. Of course, it's the legends that have made Tintagel famous. Geoffrey of Monmouth, writing in the 12th century, said part of his history of the kings of Britain here. He claimed that King Arthur was conceived at Tintagel. According to the tale, Uther Pendragon, Arthur's father, was enchanted by the wizard Merlin. Disguised in the form of Gorlois, the Duke of Cornwall, Uther gained access to Tintagel and to Igraine, the Duke's wife. From that union, Arthur was born. That story, scandalous and magical, placed Tintagel forever in the Arthurian landscape. And once Richard built his castle a century later, the connection between myth and stone was sealed. Visitors came not just to see a fortress, but to walk where legends were born. Other traditions place Tristan and Isolde in Tintagel. Some even whisper of Avalon, the mystical isle, where Arthur was carried after his last battle, half dead, half remembered. When I walked those paths, I didn't feel like I was seeing where a king was born. I felt like I was walking through the last pages of a story. And there's a sort of a heaviness there, like the final chapter that was written. That's why I thought of Camelot, of knights and queens and betrayal and loss, of Avalon, where Arthur was taken half dead, half remembered. It's not a place where stories begin, it's where they echo. King Arthur's story still remains today. It's sort of half history and half legend. A lot of times in our lives, I feel like there are those similar stories, the things that we carry on as a family and as a culture, things that are important, that we want to move forward, even if the details blur with time. I have an amazing family, and I love having my wife and children around me as much as I do. I feel so grateful for that. A couple weekends back, we reoriented our living room. Basically, Inara decided she didn't want a desk in her bedroom. It took up too much space. She wanted something smaller. So my wife decided to move her desk and a bookshelf all into the living room. And then she took the vanity and a different, smaller bookshelf and put that back into her bedroom. I couldn't help but smile and reflect on how times change, how we think about legacy in our family, again, in our culture. My mom tells a story about how her parents put adult needs above the children. It ultimately led to a fight between them because their generation, and even a little bit of my parents' generation, they were more concerned with how things are for adults. And so what made me smile was that my wife has never been that way. She has always considered our children to be just as much a part of the family as anyone else, as us. And so she moved this furniture, this giant furniture, into our living room. It was one of those moments where my family legacy said, that's not what you do. But the new legacy, that the things that we want to carry forward, the things that we want to teach our children, is that everyone is important. They are important. If not more important, because they are our future. Every day when Inara comes home, I ask her, did you do anything nice for someone today? And she thinks about it for a while. Most of the time she says she can't think of anything. Then I ask her, did anyone do anything nice for you? Similar situation. I learned that trick from Adam Grant's Rethinking podcast, but I felt like it was important to remember that all people are important, whether they are here in the moment or they have passed on. Because the parting glass is more than just a drink. It's a tradition that tells someone you mattered, that tells our community, our culture. It's one of the things I love about The Parting Glass as a song, is that it is about remembering friendship, about saying goodbye, about honoring others. If you were raising a glass tonight, who or what would you be remembering? As for me, I'd raise a glass in remembrance of my friends that have passed on from the Renaissance festivals I performed at. I'd raise a glass to my friends who I've met in the past 20 some odd years at science fiction conventions, at breweries, at Renaissance festivals. I'd raise a glass, a toast to the legacies that have passed on, the old traditions that we're saying goodbye to because they don't suit our modern society. Things change, and I think sometimes you have to raise a glass in parting. So if you will join me to raise your parting secret word. This song is centuries old. It's been sung by warriors and wanderers, by friends who know they won't meet again. And even though it's often the final tune of the night, it never feels like an end. This is The Parting Glass by The Haar from a single they released.
Of all the money that e'er I had, I spent it in good company, and of all the harm that e'er I've done, a loss was done to none but me, and all I've done for want of wit to memory now I can't recall. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all. Of all the comrades that e'er I had, they're sorry for my going away, and of all the sweethearts that e'er I had, they wish me one more day to stay. But since it falls unto my lot that I should rise while you should not, I will gently rise and I'll softly call. Good night and joy be with you all.
At the end of this story, both Arthur's and ours, there's something shared, a symbol of closure, of memory. What item do we raise to honor what's been lost? You've already heard it. It's in the title. Write it down. Thank you for climbing to Tintagel with me. Partings are never easy, but they're where the real stories live. Next time, we cross into the Quarang, the jagged edge of sky where dragons hide and courage trembles. Until then, may you never raise the glass alone. Sláinte. Thanks for listening to Quest and Chorus. This episode was edited by Mitchell Peterson. You can follow and listen to the show on my Patreon page or wherever you find podcasts. Sign up to my mailing list to learn more about songs featured in this podcast and discover where I'm performing. Remember, reduce, reuse, recycle, and think about how you can make a positive impact on your environment. Join the quest and sing along at pubsong.com.